The yellow loosestrife is coming right along. And these North Star cherries that I planted, is that North Star? Cherries are coming right along. I just bought this year. Let's see what they are. Nanking bush cherry. Okay. And I planted a pair on each side. Right there. And all the later blooming tulips are coming in. Starting. This one here. Looks like a daffodil. Some of these tulips here are finishing up. Aren't those nice? Winter alkanite is just building up strength for next year. That's the way bulbs are. If you ever want to move a bulb, you have to do it after the foliage dies back naturally in the hot summer. They bloom in the spring and it uses up all the energy of the plant. And then in the early summer, the leaves build up energy to bloom next year, stored all in the bulb. So never cut back the foliage after it finishes blooming. Let it store up energy for next year. When you see these look like crocuses, but I'm not sure. But they look like a bulb. I'm pretty sure they are. But probably right now they're storing up energy for next year. This looks like a bush, but I don't know what it is. I planted some bushes here that are supposed to be for birds. Here's one coming right on. Provide food for birds. Dogwood's coming along fine. Maybe this is that yellow dogwood. I thought I put one on, get red one on one side and a yellow one on the other. So maybe that's what that is. This penstemon here is just finishing up. I'm almost sure this is a flower, but I don't know what. That looks like a maple tree, Acer rubrum. This is a hydrangea I got here. You can kind of see all the things, the branches have been trimmed off. I've been trimming it to keep it from getting too big. All of these Hearty Lilies. Hearty Lilies are the true lilies, whereas Daylilies, Humerocallis, are not. Daylilies are called daylilies because they only bloom for one day. Here's some tulips that are just getting ready to bloom. Here's this salvia, or sage, that we planted yesterday. Salvia is a family member from the same sage that we use for seasoning. Here's the marigolds we planted yesterday. Here's the Veronica that we planted yesterday. It'll be nice when all these lilies get long enough to bloom, probably about July. Look at all these. For tulips. Another maple tree. Here's the coral bells that we just planted yesterday. They seem to be doing just fine. Got a new leaf coming on right there. Here's some peonies coming on right there. Some iris that we just planted this year here. All of these we just planted a few days ago. I think some sort of wild phlox that I planted there last year. These are all daylilies. This is Missouri Primrose that I just planted here a few days ago. I started it from seed last year, out and back, and then I just brought the seed around front here. Planted it a few days ago. It's doing just fine. So much easier if you try and transplant things before. Here in zone 5, it's before May. But like these here, I just planted a few days ago. I dug them up in a friend's yard. There's some peonies getting pretty tall. You can see I've moved that loose strife all over the place in the flower bed. There's some more there. I suppose once you move it somewhere, it starts moving itself around too. I'm not sure what these are. I think it's probably black-eyed Susans right here that I just now planted. And here, it looks like when I did plant that stuff, I also dug up some Vinca minor. And I'm not sure what this is. He had it all over the place that came with those. I guess that's the only bad part about getting stuff from somebody else's house is whatever weeds they've got bothering them, they have to keep pulling up. You're bringing over to your house. Here's some irises I just put there this year, a few days ago. This honeysuckle I just planted here this year still seems like it's dormant, not doing anything yet. Here's my honeysuckle from last year. It's starting out just fine. These ground cover phlox, I think it's phlox sublata or something, I don't know. They seem to be doing just fine. Here's some irises that I just moved here a few days ago. Here's some more coral bells with the reddish leaf. This here is Lamium. I've got it all over the place. There's Hostas right there. They're starting out. These here are honeysuckle bushes that have reseeded themselves off of the big one. I'll probably dig those up. Chocolate Vine came back. He's doing really good. Hope these are all flowers it's got coming on. It's like a few years old, 3 or 4 maybe. So it hasn't done much up until now. I think last year it bloomed for the first time. Dogtooth violet, that's it. These are dogtooth violets. It's a wildflower. And after my dad passed away, I dug up the stones out of his grape arbor and brought them over here. And the dogtooth violets came with them. And there's one of them blooming way back in there. The ones I've got are white. They're also coming yellow, but all mine are white. Looks like the dandelions are coming on, along with the maple trees. I get those all over the place. Oh, here's a big one. Oh, this looks like a tiger lily, and I don't know how it got there. These are strawberries. I used to have a strawberry bed back here. And then back there, beside the window, is a raspberry that's very young. I need to get back here and besides digging up the dandelions, I need to cut the raspberry canes from last year. Roses and clematis all climbing on here. Usually last year I had a bunch of morning glories too that I didn't plant. These are astilbes. I need to take those around front. This is columbine. I need to take it around front. Somewhere in here, this looks like a jugula. I planted here. These are plants I planted last year because the flower bed was too crowded. I didn't want to be digging in there. Here's another one of those damn maple trees I get everywhere. The advantage of having maple trees is they try and grow up everywhere. The ferns I'm going to dig up and plant out back, and the astilbes I'm going to put out front. I keep thinking this might be daisies, but I think I put some daisies back here. I don't know what all the seedlings are. Could be 4 o'clocks. I had 4 o'clocks back here. Here's the seed bed for the moonflowers I've got growing inside. They're doing really great. I'm going to plant those out here when it's warm enough. It's not warm enough yet. More maple trees. Stuff I put it in the garden. It's not growing. I need to get out here and pull up the weeds though. No peas yet. Here's a strawberry. I've got a whole bunch of strawberries that I ordered coming that I'll probably plant just right straight ahead here. And the bluebells are starting to bloom. This is Queen Anne's lace. I usually don't let it grow. I usually cut it down pretty soon. These are bleeding hearts. More bluebells. The Vinca minor is blooming. There's more bluebells all the way over. They keep spreading a little bit more every year. More back in there. Here is snow on the mountain. It's got a variegated white and green leaf. It's a pretty rampant ground cover. I planted it down here thinking that it would be safe down here, and so far it is, because there's not a lot growing down here. Like 3 different ground covers here. There's Vinca minor, here's some right here, and Lamium. They all can fend for themselves. This here is a tall sedum variety that has red flowers on the top. The hostas are just starting. I've got hostas pretty much around the tree. It's coming right along. I see these here in the seed catalog all the time. I didn't plant them out here, so I don't know where they came from, unless I dropped them from some other order I planted. Because a lot of times you might see them in assortments of early spring flowers. They'll disappear here in a while. First the foliage, where the flowers come on, and then the foliage makes the energy to bloom next year, just like all bulbs. Then they die back in the heat of the summer, never to be seen until next spring. This Missouri Primrose, it's going to be about this tall, about chest high. Have smaller yellow flowers on it. But they take over all over the place. And these phlox I just planted from Gary's yard are doing really good. I don't see anything of the trumpet vine I planted here at all. But then I've got a trumpet vine growing out back, and it hasn't started growing yet for the year either. Some plants just don't start until it's really, really warm. I've got a couple of hibiscuses. Hollyhocks haven't started yet either. But the hibiscuses don't start until it's really warm either. These poppies will be blooming here pretty soon.